little T-Rex's life started out quite simple. I was small, defenseless, and quite hungry. A stark contrast to the hulking beast I would inevitably become. I sustained myself on the fruits of the land, stopping and filling my belly at every opportunity I passed upon. As in this game, you never know when you'll find food next. And as my little T-Rex continued to grow, I encountered a bridge made out of a log. And this log is something I must approach with caution, because one of my favorite things in Beast of Bermuda is the ocean. Because in the ocean, there are countless creatures waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike for an easy meal. And because of that, a simple crossing such as this log could prove fatal for those unlucky enough to cross at the wrong time. Today, however, I was lucky, and because of that, I found safe passage to the other side of the island. And it was here, in the depths of the forest, that I found my first hunt. A solo megaraptor stalking me through the grass. Now, if I go about this correctly and keep my tail guarded, I could end up with a meal. But just because he's small doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Small, agile creatures such as the megaraptor can prove a formidable threat against an apex predator such as myself, and I need to play as cautiously as I can if I want to come out on top. Now, my goal here is to try to bait him into coming for my tail, and then when he's close enough, I'll whip around and snap him up. But just as I was beginning to enact that plan, his friend showed up. And I ate him! Satisfied and assuming my hunt was complete, I settled down and decided to eat. It only took a few moments, however, for more megaraptors to show up. It was at this point I realized how much danger I could be in. One megaraptor I could handle, but with more appearing out of the woodworks, I may end up becoming the next war on the ground. And so, realizing that I was rapidly becoming outnumbered, I began making my way towards the safety of the nearby rock. It wasn't long until they caught onto my plan, and they began putting a lot of pressure on me, trying to keep me from safety for as long as they could manage it. After all, the moment I had walls on my sides, the ease at which they could kill me would be gone. I was very lucky they had found me at a point in which my hunger and thirst was high, because in any other situation, things could be looking much worse for me. But now I could simply wait and hope that they'll need food sooner than I would, of which I was fairly confident would be the case. And even once I was safely out of their sight, I still kept an eye over my shoulder, because anything could sneak up on me at any moment. It wasn't long into my travels when I encountered something I've yet to see before. Envenomation. It's been like 3 years since I've properly played Beast of Bermuda, and I had no idea how to properly counteract this. So I kind of just hunkered around and walked away, and I realized that that's actually a really good way to counter it, because if I'm walking away, he can't target my eyes. And I think he needs to target my eyes to envenomate me. And so, I just kept walking until he got bold enough to get really close to me, and then I bit his head off. He was kinda yummy. And then it came to my attention that my Rex is getting quite thick, to the point where I couldn't even fit into mountain caves anymore. I'm too strong! And as I began to hit growth records I frankly was not expecting, I thought I was going to die within the first 10 minutes, I decided I wanted to grow a little bit faster by acquiring a speed blessing, which speeds up your growth at the cost of more rapidly losing thirst and hunger. Then I got a whiff of a big, tasty player gore, so of course, I had to go and investigate. Turns out that gore belonged to that Tropiognathus that had just left the cave, and to my misfortune, it is far out of my reach. Luckily enough though, I found another larger gore on the top of a mountain, and I'm not the type of person to pass on free food, so I started my journey upwards, only for that same stinking trope to find the gore as well, and start stickifying it and making it unreachable. And even worse, I learned that this perfectly climbable hillside is in fact not perfectly climbable. So I had to go all the way around, and by the time I finally came around, the stinking fire succeeded in making it unreachable. Like, what the heck? stubborn and I want that gore, so I'm gonna get that gore whether it kills me or not. And in my sheer determination, I was able to perfectly wiggle myself into position to consume the meat the troop had so desperately tried to keep away from me. How's it feel to lose, buddy? Gore fiasco aside, however, it is now that I encounter my biggest fear as a T-Rex. Other T-Rexes. The apex hierarchy on Beast of Bermuda is admittedly a brutal one. The biggest threat to one apex will always be another, and large groups especially like to target those who are by themselves because it's an opportunity to easily outnumber and strike down the competition. And so, I just need to hope that they didn't catch my scent trail and get out of Dodge. Today, I was lucky because none of them noticed me and I was able to safely get away. I was a bit less lucky, however, when I was ambushed by a pack of Utahraptors. Fortunately, I was keeping my eye over my shoulder, and I was also close to a cliff ledge, so they couldn't get the jump on me. But now, I find myself in a standoff. One thing I quickly realized is the advantage they currently hold. The cliff behind me is very easy for them to climb up and down, which means they can easily jump down, bite me, and get back to safety. And so, I decided to move further along the shelf wall to position more optimal for my defense. A spot where the cliff is too tall to jump to, and there's another rock that is equally as high. Because, knowing the average Utahraptor player, they're going to try to jump to it, and by jumping to it, they risk making a fatal mistake. Alright, that's one down. And now that one of them is dead, I'm going to start moving along the shelf to see how bold they'll get. And with the second death, the pack fell back, leaving me to continue my adventure. Ooh, that's disgusting. I do not want to drink it. And ironically enough, I found myself back where everything began, at the simple log crossing. And this time, it nearly cost me my life. Oh. Okay, that's not good. Now, I was growing this Rex with the expectation that I would survive no longer than an hour. And yet, here I am, at 1.6 growth with a massive Acrocanthosaurus on my tail. And in seeing how fast he is gaining on me, I knew I either needed to hide or face him head on. And so, I crept around this tree and positioned myself in a location where he would hopefully not see me. Of which he did. So now, I need to try to bite first and hope I win in a face tank battle. And seeing how big he is, I'm probably gonna lose. Oh! Oh my... I beat him! Oh my gosh, I just killed that acro! Oh my goodness! I should be dead! And so, fate smiled upon me today. But in reality, it was a mistake on the Acro's part. By using his intimidating roar, he got himself stuck in an animation of which he couldn't fight back with. And so, that gave me the advantage I needed to win the battle. And now, with this mighty gore in tow, I traveled to the far corners of the map where I could sit and enjoy my feast in peace. Who am I kidding? When is life ever that simple? Barely out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of a Megaraptor sneaking up on me. Now, he was behaving a bit unusually, and rather than approaching me up front, he was trying to stay hidden within the trees. And usually what that means is that somebody decided to scout ahead of the pack, and soon enough, the cavalry shall arrive. And just like that, the battle was finished, and they left me on my own. And once I was finished with all my food, I traveled for a little bit longer and logged off for the night. And the next morning when I logged back on, I caught whiff of something that could potentially feed me, and ever so carefully, I crept up on the herd of Parasaurolophus. And as luck would have it, the herd went straight past my hiding place. And unfortunately, I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I didn't realize quite how big that big para was, and after I'd already killed his companion, I realized, oh crap, he's gonna try to kill me. So now, we bid farewell to my beautiful Tyrannosaurus Rex. And honestly, this was a lot of fun to play. So, I'm going to reincarnate it, and if you guys want to see more, I'll take this new Rex for a spin and see where things go. Anyway, so thank you all so much for watching, and I guess I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!